He squeezed her small body in his arms the same way her words did to his heart. The only difference is the words caused him pain while he wants to provide her comfort through his warmth. Why are you doing this to me? How can you be so cruel? The soft fabric of his coat absorbed her painful tears while he held her tighter into his arms. Not only me, even destiny also behaved cruel for bearing up you with a person like me. His moist eyes stared into the darkness of sky. This soft angel deserved someone better. When the sobbing of the girl in his arms once again squeezed his heart painfully, he hid his face in her ears like a coward who is hiding from his crime and now is seeking warmth. I'm sorry. After Mia left John Mansion, Mia, wait. The girl halted on her steps, hearing her name being called out by a familiar voice. She turned to look Lena running towards her. What happened, Lena? I have to talk about you something. Mia chuckled at her answer and replied, we could have talked on our next meeting. Is it that important? It is. Really? But I have to go for somewhere? Mia muttered, looking at her wristwatch. Are you serious about it, Mia? I thought it's just an excuse to come out from there. Mia stared at her friend with confused look. Why would I even make an excuse? I was serious about meeting someone. Lena held Mia by her shoulder and said seriously, Mia, are not you here for Jungkook? The straightforward question of Lena catch me off guard, while on the other hand a disbelief look spread on her face. What do you mean by I am here for Jungkook? I just came here to meet you all. First I went to old John mansion but get to know John family shifted in a new house. So after getting the address I am here. There is no other meaning of it. Mia honestly answered. What about your love for Jungkook? Don't you love him? Mia's face turned serious at this question. Mia, Jungkook is forced to marry Ryan. He is not happy with her, can't you see? He is waiting for you to come back to him. Lena is trying to trap Mia in her words, and how you know he still loves me? Lena went silent for a few seconds. It's clear like crystal, Mia. Jungkook don't love Ryan. He doesn't treat like he used to treat you. The way he used to look at you, it's not the same with Ryan. He treats her like a stranger. Mia sighed heavily. Look, Lena, Jungkook broke up with me because his dad fixed his marriage with Ryan. It wasn't anyone's fault. It was something written in our destiny, and no one can go against it. But Mia, what about your love for him? I'm not in love with him anymore. He belongs to someone else now, and I have no interest in breaking them apart. Lena's grip loosened on Mia's arm. You noticed everything, Lena, but you failed to notice one thing. That is how Jungkook looks at me now. It's not same as before. The love he had for me now disappeared. And it's the same for me, huh? Mia smiled before raising her hand. I belong to someone else now. Lena stared at the ring with wide eyes. Her hands finally fall down in disbelief. Jungkook and mine relationship was not approved by destiny, and I think it's best for us. I don't know about Jungkook's relationship with Vine, but I'm sure about one thing that is Vine is perfect for Jungkook. Jungkook and Vine are still in each other's embrace. It's like no one wants to pull away and lose each other's warmth. She is snuggled up to him, and his hands were busy gently caressing her ears. The moment was euphoric. Them being snuggled up into each other's arm is beautiful, but the reason behind it is heartbreaking. Who knew the painful confession will bring them close to each other? Sometimes pain becomes the reason of small happiness. Sometimes enduring for someone turns out worthy. The single confession of emotions filled the huge gap between them. decrease the distance and bring them together, even it was for someone. Why? Let's give each other another chance. I know I can't make up for lost time. And replace those words I said to you. All I want is one more chance. Trust me, I will make it right. Just give me one chance to prove myself that I can be better for you, please. Wine never had thought she will melt so easily against Jungkook's words. But then it wasn't impossible. His gentle look warmed her heart. The soft touch broke her every insecurity. His sincere words captured her soul and she lost herself in her embrace. Those few words were enough and her heart fell in love without her own permission once again. Maybe this time everything changed and the relationship turned into something meaningful, which both of them can cherish. So it's final, we are going for shopping next day and Jungkook will bear all the expenses. An excited Bora stated loudly while stuffing her mouth with french fries. Just leave my house, you hungry pig, Jungkook said irritatingly. She will, but after eating everything, until you will be left with nothing here. Zach joked, on which Bora let out a warning roll as her mouth is stuffed with food. Wine, who is in the kitchen, smiled hearing their funny arguments, and the smile was genuine, not the fake one. Last night conversation changed everything, and today is a new start. Wine, what the hell are you doing there alone? Come and join us. Bora's sudden loud yell caused the girl to flinch badly. Coming, Wyatt answered while trying to calm her pumping heart. Along with food, this girl will finish my life too. Wine held the tray of juice and exited the kitchen. Wine placed down the tray on table before sitting next to Bora, who didn't waste any other second and picked one glass filled with orange juice. She is about to take a sip when her eyes fall on Zad, who is looking at her in disbelief. I can't believe you are my sister. Unlucky me, have a brother like you. Bora sat sadly and shook her head before gulping down the glass of juice, while Zad gritted his teeth in annoyance. The only unlucky person here is me for always dealing with a grateful pig like you. Thanks for reminding me. I will make sure to reward you later for your patience and hard work. Now let me eat because food makes me happy, unlike you. Bora stated with a done look and continued stuffing her mouth. Wine chuckled at the brother and sister's silly argument. This makes her remember someone who also used to tease and make fun of her. Wine shrugged away her thoughts as there is no way she will get to see him again. After all, it's been so long she lost contact with him. She looked up for a second, forgot to breathe when their eyes met like that day when for the first time their both eyes acquainted. And just like every day, she hopes that he read her heart through her eyes the same she used to read him. His hatred for her. Their eyes diverted from each other by the sound of throat clearing, and for the first time, she failed to read him and his emotions for her, or it was something else. Ah, I'm full, Bora exclaimed with both hands on her completely filled stomach. Gosh, finally you stopped, pig. Sad, taking a deep breath and deliberately ignored the receiving glares. Nona, I'm going in my room. I'm feeling like to vomit after seeing this pig eating everything. OMG, I'm feeling nauseous. Let me just. Zad blabbered while acting like he will just look and run inside his room, followed by Bora. Let me show you how much I eat, my dear brother. Oh god, someone save me from this pig. Jungkook was looking done with his both cousins' drama. He stood up from couch and looked at the place. where one was sitting only to find no one there. He looked around and saw her going inside kitchen, so without any second thought he followed her. Wine put everything in the sink which she had to wash and was about to go to bring rest of the other stuff too. Just when she turned to go, she collided with something hard which caused her to step back immediately. Sorry, Wine stopped rubbing her nose when she heard him saying, but why the whisper sounded so clear to her. To look, she opened her eyes and found Jungkook standing just in front of her. Their faces were close. It's okay. Jungkook stepped back and stretched his hand forward. Wine slightly looked down and smiled, looking at the tie in his hand. Oh, I forgot to do this. Wine whispers and take it from his hands before looking back at him. When she get approval slowly, she stretched against him on her toes, but at the same time he bent down to her level, because of which their both foreheads pressed against each other. Her breath hissed and his heart thundered against his body. She slowly get back on her heel, due to which their foreheads are no longer in contact. This is the first time he did this, otherwise it's always used to be her. Guess things will change now. With a nervous smile, she hung the tie upside down around his collar, while during her eyes were focused on that area only while he's on her face. She tightened the knot and finally adjusted the collar by pulling it down. It's done. Jungkook nods his head in acknowledgement and steps back. Thanks. Wine passed a small smile. I must go now. Yeah, you will get late otherwise. Wine followed him to outside and handed his bag. Bye. Jungkook didn't say anything and kept standing there. You forgot something. Instead of giving answer, Jungkook put his hand on her head and gently caressed it. Take care of yourself. Wine was shocked. Not wasting one more second, Jungkook strolled towards the door. Boy have no interest in showing his red ears to her. Ding dong! Wine opened a door and a wide smile appeared on her face, seeing the person. Oh ma! She hugged the lady tightly, who didn't back away, showing her daughter-in-law the same affection. However, for some reason, she was looking serious. Let's give each other another chance. Jungkook stops the car and come out of it before heading towards the flower shop situated ahead of him. If you can't express your feelings, then use flowers. They are best at it. Jungkook remembered his secretary's words. Surprisingly, Jungkook decided to ask help from Tony, who was more than happy to help his boss. His eyes fall upon the delicate hues. Their soft and fragile beauty can attract anyone towards them. With gaze still lingering on them, Jungkook finally stopped, touching the delicate petals. How can I help you, sir? The florist asked. Jungkook went into deep thinking. The boy have no knowledge about flowers, neither have any idea what to say or buy. He looked up with an embarrassed smile. Can you please help me in selecting one? Florist couldn't help but chuckle at his adorable actions. Of course, that's why we are here for. So, who is the special one? Your girlfriend? Florist asked with a cheeky smile. Jungkook looked down at the beautiful red rose before saying with a soft smile, No, I want to buy for my wife. Florist mentally cooed. What's her favorite flower? Jungkook's smile fell down at this question. Favorite flower? He don't know, or actually he had never asked. He closed his eyes before opening them and looked at the florist. We are starting a new chapter of our life. Give me something which can represent this meaning well. Florist nodded with a soft smile and went to other area before coming back with a small bouquet. Combination of both white and pink roses. Jungkook take it from her hand and look at her in order to know about them. White and pink roses symbolize loyalty, a fresh start, appreciation, and respect. Start your new beginning by showing your true intention and appreciation by giving her this. Jungkook's heart filled with joy after hearing this. That's what he wants to appreciate his wife for always staying by his side even after he neglected her existence. He wants to return back the loyalty and respect she showed to him. The painful 6 month journey of them now ended, and today is a new beginning, a fresh start of their life. Jungkook ring the doorbell with a racing heart. His grip tightened on the small bouquet in his hand. He was nervous and impatient. Jungkook is feeling like this after so long. He is going to do something different and it's making him positively giddy. When he was on his way, a chuckle left from his mouth. He was amazed at his own behavior. But once again, he got disappointed when he didn't find her in kitchen preparing dinner. In her place, there was someone else today. Where is wine? He asked to the maid who is today in charge of preparing dinner. Otherwise, it always used to be his wife. It's kinda weird yet rare. Mrs. Jones is not at home. Jungkook frowned at her statement. Not at home? Maybe she has gone to market. Jungkook thought of a possibility about whereabouts, but the maid's next word confused him more. Your mother, Mrs. Jones, came here after you left for office. She took Miss with herself. After telling the maid went from there, Jungkook was staring blankly in air, while thousands of thoughts are running inside his mind. Mom took wine and didn't even inform me about it. This never happened before. Usually, Mrs. Jones take wine to their old house to introduce her lovely daughter-in-law to visitors and relatives. But before, she always had informed Jungkook about it. But today, she didn't. However, Jungkook didn't pay much attention to it because first she is his mom and second he assumed maybe something urgent came up. That's why she had forgot to tell him. On the other hand, his mood get a little off because now he can't give the flowers which he brought for his wife. Mom, why it's you again? But thinking something, his eyes shined in excitement. Jungkook took the car keys and, in other hand, held the bouquet and ran outside. Come on, Jungkook, it's your chance today. You could have told me, Oma, that guests are coming. I got scared when you suddenly told me to come with you. A smiley wine expressed her thoughts to her mother-in-law, who was deep in her thoughts. Oma, Mrs. Jones snapped out of her thoughts and looked up at Wine, bewildered. Yes, my child. Where are you lost, Oma? Now here, my child. What were you saying? Mrs. Jones asked as she actually missed what Wine had said to her. Wine just shook her head. Nothing, Oma. I think you should take rest. I will finish this remaining work. Wine started looking around. It's going to be evening soon, and most of the work is finished. I do feel the same. Yes, now go and take rest. I will send something for you to eat. Mrs. Jones let out a dry chuckle and grabbed Wine's hand in hers. More than others, look after yourself too, my child. Don't be so kind. The elderly woman's eyes saddened while saying this. I feel contented taking care of my family, Oma, and we fail to give you happiness. Her eyes moistened. Wine shook her head in denial and held the woman's hand tightly. Oma, I'm happy. I was not, but now I am. Wine whispered those words in her mind. Mrs. Jones pulled Wine in a hug, who was confused because of her dear Oma's sudden emotional moment. I will make sure you always be happy in your life, my child, Mrs. Jones whispered with tears in her eyes. Excuse me, ma'am, a maid interrupted their moment. Mrs. Jones secretly wiped her tear before looking in her direction. Yes, Master Jones is here. Wine stiffened as she heard her husband's name. Oh, tell his mom. Jungkook announced his presence in kitchen, cutting his mother's sentence in between. Wine looked up for a few seconds before diverting them back to floor as his eyes were already on her. Jungkook steps closer before hugging her mother. How are you, mom? You missed me too soon, my dear son. Mrs. Joan mocked, slightly patting on her son's back. Don't be so dramatic, mom. I always talks to you on phone. So, are you doing me a favor? Chungu gave a weird expression. Mrs. Joan rolled her eyes. Anyways, any special reason behind your this sudden appearance? The elderly woman questions with crossed arms. Well, Jungkook glanced at the figure behind his mother before averting them back to his mom's serious face. I was unaware of you taking wine along with you. Can't I? Mrs. Jones coldly stated. Of course you can, mom. It's just you have never done this before, so I got confused. Jungkook answered with hesitation. Well, today I did. Got any problem? Anyways, today guests are coming, so that's why I bring wine here to help me. Oh, that's good. You will not go back, Jungkook? Even you returned early from office today. I heard you had a meeting in evening. Mom, actually it got cancelled. I was thinking to join you all today. Guests are coming too, so... Jungkook expressed, scratching his neck, feeling nervous. As you wish, my son. Mrs. Joan turned towards Vine. You will be alright, my child. Work is almost finished, Oma. Don't worry. Mrs. Jones smiled and went away from there. Now, no one is in the kitchen except two of them. Having no courage to look at the person standing there, Wine turned around and continued doing her work with no concentration. Jungkook licked his lip and take few steps forward. Wine's heart started to race as she gulped. Jungkook cleared his throat and kept getting closer until he stopped. Wine could feel him breathing behind herself. Wine. Her heartbeat is increasing every second. Yes, I want to. Jungkook, Dad is calling you. They both flinched and Wine moved to another direction, thinking someone is coming inside. Again, I highly doubt her being my mom now. Jungkook mentally hissed, feeling annoyed by his mom, always interrupting him. Jungkook, coming, mom. Jungkook cursed and went out of the kitchen while Vine sighed in relief. What? Jungkook came out of kitchen with a pissed look. He was frustrated, which leads him to talk rudely with his mom. Mrs. Joan tilted her head sideways, feeling offended by her son's way of talking. Jungkook gulped when he saw his mom's scary face. No matter how cold-hearted and tough you are, you can never win against your mom. Yes, mom. Jungkook immediately corrected himself. Your dad is calling you. The tone is which his mom talking. He is not liking this. It hurts. Mom, are you angry with me? Did I do something wrong? Mrs. Joan looked at her son few seconds before she strolled towards other direction. But the stare of few seconds Jungkook received from his mother told him so many things. His mom is an open book, and Jungkook could read what's hiding in her eyes, and it clenched his heart. She is disappointed. Jungkook, Mr. Joan called when he found his son zoning out. Jungkook looked at his father and asks, Dad, why mom is talking to me like this? His voice got shaky. Jungkook can never bear his mother's ignorance. She means so much to him. He observed everything. How she didn't call him with nicknames. She didn't hug him like she always do. Not even nagged him if he is even treating her daughter-in-law nicely or not. These are the clear indication that something is off and somewhere his mother is upset with him. But why? Don't mind her, son. You know, your mom and her mood swings. Maybe she's tired after doing too much work. Let her rest for some time, then you can talk with her. Jungkook dishearteningly nodded. He was not still assured, not until he talks with his mother. You're staying? Yes. That's amazing. I think you already know guests are coming. It would be so amazing if you will be there to join us. Go and freshen up. Mr. John stated, patting on his shoulder. Chunku compiled to his father's words. Everything is prepared. After finishing every work, Wine come out of kitchen and directly went to room to take a shower as she's all sweaty after working. As every month, Wine came here, so her clothes are here too. She had been contemplating what to choose, standing inside the walk-in closet. After struggling for a few seconds, she took two outfits and one again starts to contemplate what to wear. She was looking at both dresses with confused face. Which one is way better? Out of nowhere, someone familiar said. The sudden appearance startled the poor girl. She looked in a mirror and saw Jungkook, her husband, leaning her side while fixing his hairs. She noticed his wet hairs and by the sweet fragrance coming from him. Tells her he just came out of shower. It means he was here in this room. Just stopped what he was doing when he saw her staring at him. What? Why just shook her head. You here? Am I not allowed? You might have forgotten that this room belongs to both of us. Or you're just surprised to see me here. Chogo questioned in his same cold tone. Wine looked in his eyes, cold and dark, just like night, yet they are sparkling with warmth, which was preventing them to appear cold. While her eyes were attracting him, they never failed to spread warmness inside him, and the hidden, untold story always makes him curious. There is something in her eyes, in fact, it was always there. Before he failed to read, but now he and his heart both are eager to know the secrets of her heart through them. For the first time in my life, I want to waste my time, but unlucky as we can't. His throaty chuckle raised her heartbeat. Nothing, go and get ready. Guests will come soon. Wyan nodded cluelessly and went out from there with both dresses still in her hands. Chungo couldn't help but breathe out another chuckle. When Chungo came downstairs, his parents were already welcoming the guests. As he gets closer to them, his eyes fall on some familiar faces. His bunny smile came out and his steps quickened. Jin Young, the tall figure with broad shoulders, turns around and his lips too stretched into a wide smile. My kiddo. Instead of rolling his eyes like he always used to do after hearing his nickname, Jungkook smiled widely and engulfed the person in a welcoming hug, who was already coming towards with him open arms and a wide grin. Hyung, when did you come back? They back away from each other just yesterday, and you didn't even inform me, Jungkook exclaimed loudly. Calm down, kid. I wanted to surprise you. Jungkook looked at him with suspicious eyes to which Jin just sighed. Now don't sulk. You will welcome the person who practically riles you with his face. Where are the manners I had taught you? Jin commented in disappointment. You both just met and already started your mom and son drama. At least pay attention to your surroundings too. Mrs. Jones stated, but Mom, Chongo couldn't complete his sentence when his eyes fell on another familiar face. Mr. Park. Jungkook exclaimed in confusion. Good evening, Mr. Joon. I bet you must be thinking, why am I here? Jimin said like he can read Jungkook's mind. Actually, before coming here, me and Jin Hyung were in meeting about our new project. He insisted to join him and I couldn't deny. Sorry for coming like this. Jimin explained and later chuckled. Jimina, what are you saying, dear? You were talking like you were in a stranger's house. Come on, we already know each other. And you can come whenever you want without any invitation. Mr. Jonas assured. Of course, uncle. You all will talk standing here or will come inside. Mrs. Joan, who was watching the drama from the start, finally spoke up. Oh, yes, let's go. I missed Auntie's food. Jin said excitedly. No need of buttering, just say you are hungry and you are missing food. Jungkook said, exposing Jin, who bit back an embarrassed smile and sent a glare to the younger, while others laughed at their bickering. Just proceed, you grown up kids. Mrs. said, being faked annoyed. Wow, Jin exclaimed loudly once he saw varieties of dishes placed on dining table. His eyes were shining. Hyung, close your mouth, you are drooling. Jin immediately placed palm on his mouth and Jungkook just shook his head at elder's behavior. Well, his Jin Hyung is still the same. Auntie, you prepared all this. You know what, I don't want to waste another second. Jin settled down on one of the chairs and rubbed his hands in greed to taste everything in one bite. Sorry to disappoint you, dear, but today's dinner is not prepared by me. Why? My daughter in law had prepared everything. Mrs. Joan was looking proud while saying this as she gestured Jimin to take seat too. My kiddo's wife means my daughter in law. Jimin looked at Jin with, what are you saying? Look. Where is she? Introduce her to her original mother in law. Jin sat while flipping his ears. Hyung, for once, stop being dramatic and please act mature in front of my wife. Don't lose your reputation. You are concerned about me or your wife? Of course not for you. Jungkook answered boldly and placed himself beside the now angry Jin. Okay, calm down. Let me just call her. Mrs. Joan was about to go to call Wine, but she smiled when she saw her coming downstairs. Here she is. All eyes turned towards the girl who is approaching them. Jungkook bit back his smile when he saw her in the same dress he told her to wear. For some reasons, he was feeling proud. Wine greeted with a small bow, wearing a small, shy smile on her face. Sokjin gasped loudly and stood up from his seat with a dramatic expression. I go, my daughter-in-law is beautiful just like me. Jungkook face-palmed himself at the elder's dramatic words, while Wine smiled in confusion. Hyung, yes, I know, I am a little more beautiful. No need to remind me, dear. Not every truth is to tell. Stop speaking rubbish, Hyung. Jungkook said, feeling done. Why? I'm just stating worldwide facts. And where are your manners? You just can't interrupt someone who is older than you. Don't you know who am I? Jin starts squalling in his famous rap style. During this, every part of his body was dancing. Wine covered her mouth, finding this scene so funny. You are just an old man. Jungkook unintentionally said it out loud. Hearing this, Jin's nose starts to flare up and his face turned red in anger. Before he could snap on the younger, who has already assumed that today is his last day, someone interrupted them. Woohoo! Family drama. What a welcoming scene. Every head snapped in that particular direction. Taeungi Hyung, An excited Jungkook ran towards the man who was flashing his unique, boxy smile and engulfed him in a tight hug. The other returned the warm gesture. I thought you didn't come. How can I not come to meet you all? I was just parking the car, then mom called. Thank God you are here, Hyung. Otherwise, I have to deal with Jin Hyung alone. Jungkook slightly pouted. Taeyong couldn't resist his adorable action and ended up pinching his cheek. Excuse me, I can hear you. Jin asserted, like I care. Jungkook blurted coolly. Taeyong giggled and they both approached other family members standing there. Mr. and Mrs. Kim hugged Taeyong, welcoming him. Jimmy, you here too? Taeyong was surprised to see his best friend here. Jin Hyung dragged me here with himself. Okay, enough. Seeing familiar faces, now you need to meet the most special person of today's night. Our cookie's wife and my beautiful daughter in law. Jin announced excitedly yet proudly. You have a son and you didn't tell your brother. Theo gasped dramatically. As you already don't know, Jin shrugged. Anyways, where is she? Jin pointed to the girl standing there. Theo's smile fell down when he saw her face while wine already. Have few tears in her eyes, her tears of sadness falling down as she sobbed. Buttercup, his throat was closed, making him sound hoarse. With a heartbreaking smile, he approached her, and before he could see the tear rolling down her eyes, she clenched in his arms. Head tightly pressed against his heart as Sting felt his heart squeezing terribly, and he held her tightly into his arms. You are still a crybaby. Theung tried to joke, but the tears welling in his eyes and the crack in his voice failed his this attempt. Everyone around them grew confused by the sudden start of emotional scene. In front of them, Jungkook stared at them, wrapped around in each other's arms with gold case. But inside, a big mess of emotions was going on. Whoa! Jin slowly called out his younger brother. Theung wiped his tears before pulling away the now sobbing girl from his arms. He gently wiped her tears and looked away for a moment to compose himself. Her nose was red due to crying. The sight was heartbreaking yet admirable too. Theung couldn't help but chuckle and slightly pulled her nose. When she came back to senses, feeling terribly embarrassed by every single eye on them, Wine wiped the tears from her eyes with the help of her sleeves. Are you okay now? Theung asked in concern, to which Wine slightly nodded her head. Come. He made her sit on a chair, filled a glass of water before passing it to her. Others were just looking at them with puppy eyes, having no idea what is actually happening. Theung found nothing but confusion once he looked at all of their faces. Seems like no one was prepared for this. What just happened? What you did to my daughter-in-law? Jin's funniest words helped the environment to turn light. Are you right now, using your brain or not? Well, not your fault too. Let me explain to you all. Theung looked at Vine before taking a deep breath. About one thing, I'm sure you both know each other already. Theung nodded. Yes, you remember you when I used to live with Grandma? Vine used to live there too with her dad. Gradually, we becomes more closer and then best friends. But unluckily, for studies, I had to leave and then we couldn't meet. She's my best friend, my buttercup. Theung explained with moist eyes and he caressed her head. Oh, that's the matter. Yup. But you both are lucky, Tete, that you both get a chance to see each other again. Jimin said, you're right. After completing my education, when I got back there to meet you, I came to know that uncle passed away and you got married to one of his close friend's son. I was devastated. I didn't know what to do, where to find you. I was scared, yet was adamant too. to fulfill our promise, but see, fate itself brought me to you. Taeyong cupped her cheeks, who was now again sobbing, hearing his best friend's concern for herself. I thought I will never see you again. Me too. But then you wished, or more like commanded, to travel around the world, and how can I let my buttercup's wish remain unfulfilled? Taeyong sat flashing his boxy smile. Aw, how adorable! Mrs. Joan cooed as she wiped the corner of her eyes, feeling emotional. Everyone laughed except one person, who still had a blank look on his face. Wine sniffed and looked up when she felt a hand caressing her head. Don't cry, my beautiful daughter-in-law. Your friend is here with you. Now smile. Jean sat flashing his softest smile. Now everything is settled, I guess. Let's have dinner. Otherwise, my friends, all efforts will go in vain. Jimin stated. Who is your friend? Taeyong confusedly asked. Wine is my friend. Taeyong's mouth formed O before he again asked. Wait, when did you befriend it with my buttercup? None of your business. Jimin said with an eye roll. I don't even care, but let me tell you, small Chim Chim, she's only my best friend, not yours. Taeyong was decisively informed. There is no food is getting cold. I think we all should settle down and eat. Jungkook interrupted. Jimin and Taeyong settled down on their seats while giving each other threatening gazes. Mrs. Joan and Wine starts to serve them all. I'm excited to eat your prepared food, Wine. Wine kindly smiled to Jimin, and now she is serving her husband. It's enough. Jungkook stopped her from serving more. Before she could move away from him, he slowly whispered, Are you okay? Wine was happy from inside, as for the first time Jungkook is concerned about her. Silence fell down in dining area as everyone started to eat, except the sound of cutleries and Jane's weird eating noises, who was praising Wine's cooking skills now and then. He even offered to teach her his unique cooking skills. After dinner, which filled with gossips and funny talk, after a few minutes of silence, everyone settled down in living area where too they started to talk about their past. In between, Jungkook get a phone call, so he went towards the balcony to take it after excusing himself. Excuse me too, I have to use washroom. Taeyong sat and hurriedly left from there. Meanwhile, Yup, we will come, don't worry. Tell mates they will prepare food, and if you want, you can order too. Bye. Jungkook hung up the call. Who was it? Jungkook got startled by the sudden presence beside himself. Taeyong Hyung, you scared me. Jungkook blurted with a hand on his chest. Sorry, Taeyong smiled. It's okay, Hyung. By the way, it was that. Your cousins are here. Yes, they're living with us, but after yesterday they will return back to USA. Oh. Hyung, why Namjoon Hyung didn't come? Jungkook asked. He's not here, Jungkook. Hyung is in Canada due to some business related stuffs. You remember we have our another branch there too. Oh yeah, that's right. It's okay. I will meet him after he returned back. Taeyong Hyun didn't respond. For a few seconds there was silence until Taeyong spoke again, now facing the sky. So how does this all happen? What, Taeyong? You and Wine's marriage. As far as I remember, you had a girlfriend since high school days. And you used to love her a lot. So how come you ended up marrying Wine? A dry chuckle left from Jungkook's mouth at his question. When both fate and your family are against you, then what could you even do? What you mean, Cook? Jungkook explained everything to Taeyong, how his father forced him to marry Wine, that too when he was in love with someone else. He even told Taeyong about his behavior towards Wine, how he treated her as He never hid anything from his Hyungs, and he can't even hide. Hyung was controlling himself from punching Jungkook. I understand you were hurt, but hurting her who had no fault in this. What logic is this? Jungkook lowered his head in shame. Imagine losing your only parent, ending up marrying a stranger, trusting him, caring about him for what? Only to get ignored. I can't believe you did this with her. Taeyong was losing his control as he can't believe his buttercup suffered so much, and the reason behind it his best friend. And she is still staying with an idiot like you. What a perfect example of a perfect partner. How can you be so lucky, Joon Jungkook? Tune mocked with a dry laugh. Listen, you want her in your life or not? If not, then tell me, I will take her with me. I'm sure she will find someone more better than you. Jungkook's heart raced in fear. Hyung, we are working on our relationship. I forgot my past. I'm not living in it anymore. My heart doesn't beat for her. I don't long for her presence now. In fact, everything has stopped a long ago. But I just realized when everything got messed up. But now I want to make everything right. You should make everything right. Ask for forgiveness before I do something. And you regret every single thing you did and your each word. Hyung warned with fierce eyes. I will, Hyung, not because you are saying, but this is what my heart wants me to do. Jungkook assured with head hung low. Hyung didn't say anything and turned to go when a hold on his wrist stopped him to go further. He turned back to saw Jungkook looking at him with guilty eyes. Hyung, you are not upset with me, right? I'm sorry. Jungkook's doe eyes shined with tears and his lips formed a small pout. This kid, only your this bulky body makes you look like a gold CEO. Otherwise, if someone will see your face closely, I bet they will change their opinion. Taeyong joked dramatically, while Jungkook sniffed, feeling offended. Tell me, you still wear diapers, right?